one more time.
Mr. Customer, now, you've agreed to purchase the parts and labor agreement. Let me have your initials here that you accepted this and it was fully explained to you. Now, Mr. Customer, you turned down the credit life insurance. Before we sign off on that and move on, that's a point of purchase item. You cannot come back and buy it at a later time. I believe in it. I've seen it do a lot of good things for a lot of people. And frankly, if you're one of my personal relatives, you'd never leave here without it. If you give me any opportunity, I'm going to make an aggressive effort to sell it to you. Is there anything I can explain to you about the benefits of this product? What's the main reason that you feel it's not a good value? What's the reason you feel it's not a good value? Is there anything I could explain to you? Anything you don't understand about this product? Fire me an objection on credit life. Anybody?
I have existing life insurance.
Excuse me?
I have existing life insurance.
What kind of insurance do you have?
Term.
You got term insurance. Good. Now, you're getting a $30,000, $50,000 automobile here. Did you take that into account when you bought the term insurance?
No.
Aha. So in other words, you got another $50,000 of coverage that you need. This is only on the car, and that term insurance policy you have, basically, this is decreasing term insurance. The premium actually goes down as you pay on it. Fire another one at me.
Price.
Price? What about the price?
It's expensive for a $30,000 automobile.
No, sir, it's actually not an expensive policy. It's a group policy for people 18 to 65 years of age, and the rates are actually dictated by the insurance commissioner of the state of Georgia. As a matter of fact, I'm not allowed to charge you more or charge 18-year-old less. Everybody pays the same rate. It's a group policy, and the rates are set by the insurance commissioner of the state. How about that? Give me an objection on credit life.
I just think it's too much money for what I'm already paying. My payments is at the top of my range.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Now, you're struggling right now to make the payments. That's what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
If you pass away today, what's going to happen to the car?
Yes, it goes back.
It goes back. Now, you see, credit life is not for you. Frankly, it's for her. You follow what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Credit life is not for the guy buying it. Everybody got that? Credit life is what you sell when you're looking at the man talking to the wife. Everybody understands how you sell credit life. You look at him and you're talking to her. Is it too much money? I was in Burton, Ohio. You been to Burton, Ohio, Sean? You know where I was, at Preston Superstore. You stayed in that little Amish hotel with the Amish ladies? Amish people, that was kind of interesting. Anybody live in the Amish community? They're not who I thought they were. They're a little different. I enjoyed, getting to know the Amish people. Stop signs say stop and whoa. But anyway, I'm in Burton, Ohio at Preston Superstore a couple years ago. Now, the F&I manager's name is Wally. Now, Wally and I are in the F&I office. I did a training session all morning, and this woman comes in the F&I office. Now, Wally has a pretty big F&I office. There's a desk behind his desk, and I'm sitting at the desk behind his desk. Have you got that picture? I'm sitting at the desk behind his desk. And the woman comes in, she says, I don't want any of that. No matter what you say, I don't want any of this stuff. I mean, she's firing both barrels coming in the door. So Wally goes through all of his stuff that he learned out of a South Florida F&I school. I didn't say Jiminy. But Wally's doing all his little robot pitch, his little memorized stuff. And the woman said, I told you I don't want any of that stuff. And I turned around and said, now bear in mind, I'm the only guy in the dealership wearing a business suit and a baseball hat. She probably assumes I'm something different than everybody else, So I turned to, I'm at the desk, I'm not paying attention, but I am paying attention. And I turned and said, "Excuse me, Martha, I'm Jim Ziegler, I'm a financial consultant from Atlanta, Georgia, and I couldn't help but overhear what you just said to Wally. Now, I agree with you, you probably don't need the environmental protection package. Your car's garaged, you're not driving it that much. I mean, I could agree with that. But let me ask you a question. Do you have $25 in your purse right now?" And she said, "Of course I do." I said, "Let me ask you another question. If 3 or 4 days from now, will you know what you did with that $25? "What do you mean?" I said, "That is frivolous money. I bet you give your kids and your grandkids more quarters to put in the video machine at Chuck E. Cheese's than you're sitting here arguing about." She said, "Well, yeah, I guess so." I said, "So 3 days from now, you will not know what happened to that $25. You will have spent it on little trivial stuff. It's not important money at all, is it?" "No, not really." "Do you have $7,000 in your purse?" "Do you have $7,000 in your bank account?" "Well, no." "Well, see, I realize you didn't because you were arguing about the down payment." "You don't have $7,000 in fluid cash right now." "No, I don't." Now, that is more than our average gap claim is right now. Our average gap claim is about $7,500. So in other words, if you had a gap claim, that would be a catastrophic amount coming at you unexpected. It would totally be a disruption in your life. "Well, yeah." I said, "You'd have to sell something or borrow a huge amount of money if you had a $7,500 gap claim right now." She said, "Yes, I would." I said, "Our gap is considerably less than $25. So in other words, I can limit your exposure and your liability to a small, known, manageable amount, something that you can handle, as opposed to a catastrophic amount coming at you when you least expect it." Everybody heard that word track? I'm going to say it several times. I can limit your liability to a small, known, manageable amount, something you can handle. Actually, frivolous money that doesn't mean a lot to you, less than $25 a month, as opposed to a catastrophic amount coming to you when you least expect it that would totally disrupt your life. How good is that word track, Karen? Excellent. Isn't it? I mean, could you see it? A small, known, manageable amount. Something you can handle. As opposed to a catastrophic amount coming at you when you least expect it. Totally disrupt. Would $75 hurt your life? Yes, it would. Small, known, manageable amount. Something you can handle. Frivolous money. As opposed to a catastrophic amount coming at you when you least expect it that would totally disrupt your life. Right? Is that a great word track?
Great word track.
And her husband said, "I think we ought to get that." And they'd already turned Wally down.
As opposed, one more time.
As opposed to a catastrophic amount coming at you when you least expect it that would totally disrupt your life. A small, known, manageable amount. A small, known, manageable amount. Something you can handle. Frivolous money. As opposed to a catastrophic amount coming at you when you least expect it that would totally disrupt your life. Is that pretty good?
Perfect.
These word tracks. I want you to notice another thing. Danielle, did I say that several different ways? I did, didn't I? Because it's conversation, it's not memorization. Did you hear me? I reworded it several times. I got the point out, though, didn't I?
Yes.
Small, known, manageable amount. Do you have $25 in your purse? Well, yeah. 3 days from now, will you know what you did with it? No. I bet you give your kids more quarters than that to put in the video machine at Chuck E. Cheese's, your grandkids. And by the way, I always use Chuck E. Cheese's as my example. Everybody in life, one time or another, has had Chuck E. Cheese's. Everybody's done Chuck E. Cheese's at one time or another, right? Chuck E. Cheese's gave me so many lessons in life when my son was little. Kid running around with 500 tickets. Shit, he's going to get a Rolex. It's a plastic whistle. Right. Quit it.
$75 in,
Yeah. Kid's got $300 to get all these tickets. He gets a whistle. Yeah, so Chuck E. Cheese's. Everybody's got experience with that. We've all lived life. We all had experience with T-ball at one time or another. That's been a part of everybody's life somewhere, somehow. So the word tracks the words you say. Everybody's buying a service contract on something. Now, the thing about a service contract, it's in most states, not Florida, not Wyoming, but in most states, it's negotiable. In most states, the price of a service contract is whatever the bank will finance and whatever the customer will agree to. But you got to remember, there are things called deceptive trade practices. You've got to be careful that you aren't committing deceptive trade practices when you sell service contracts or cars. Pricing is very important. Now, deceptive trade practices come in several varieties: prejudicial, discriminatory, and predatory. Deceptive trade practices: prejudicial, discriminatory, predatory. The one that most of us are getting hit with is predatory pricing. Predatory pricing is when you gouge a customer for an extravagant amount of money that you don't charge everybody. You follow what I'm saying? And that could be prejudicial, it could be discriminatory. What kind of customers do we really discriminate against today in our industry? Bogues, people with really bad credit. I mean, we lower the boom on bogues, we really do. And some F&I people can't make any money unless they got stupid people with bad credit. I sold a lot of F&I to smart people with good credit because I saw the value in the products and I presented the products, I presented the protection items, and I convinced the consumer it was a good value. Instead of knocking some poor credit challenged person out of the ballpark because they're stupid and they have bad credit. Predatory pricing. More F&I prosecutions have happened over overcharging than anything else in our industry. So on service contracts, you should have the same starting price on every service contract. Now there's no law says you have to, but to protect yourself, I'm going to say you have to. You should have the same starting price on every service contract. Now how do you do that? They have different costs. Number one, maybe you can have a percentage of markup. Where your dealership's policy is we mark up every service contract. I'm not price fixing here, but as an example, we're going to mark up every service contract 100% over cost. Or you could have a dollar amount. We're going to mark up every service contract $1,200 over cost. So you can have a set dollar amount or a percentage. Now listen carefully. You can negotiate down from that number, but you should have the same starting price for all customers to protect yourself legally. The same starting price. That doesn't mean all customers are going to pay the same. Some people are going to negotiate a lesser price. So say our dealership's policy is we're going to mark up every service contract $1,500 above true cost. Now, I can negotiate down from there, but everybody got the same starting price, and I didn't gouge any customer. Like recently, somebody sold a $24,000 service contract on a used H1 Hummer. That happened in Texas, just outside of Houston. And I mean, that is a deceptive trade practice. Biggest gross I ever saw on a service contract. I guarantee it's gonna be the biggest chargeback.
Damn, that fella got any kinfolk